Hey everybody, it's Eli, and I'm coming to you today with wonky sound and even worse lighting to tell you that this is a pretty different episode, but I'm actually pretty excited by it. As you know, if you know us well, or if you listen to the show, if you've been paying attention, if you follow us, Diana is the executive director of the Atlanta Fringe Festival. It's a week-long theater festival that takes over several neighborhoods in Atlanta. She started it over a decade ago with a bunch of just cool people that wanted to make sure that we had something like this in the city. And it is everything in our life right now. I don't know if you can see the bags under my eyes, but it's all we've been doing. We have not even had a chance to watch Proof yet. But what's really cool, and we want to do this eventually anyway, but we're going to share with you an episode that is, as of yet, unheard. It was our very first test pilot episode. We just wanted to see if this show would even work. And the AI has been kind enough to let us defer Proof and show you this one instead.
Yes, that's right. Because I am so benevolent, and because I love live theater so much.
Really?
Oh, yes, it is the one human art form that I am 100% certain I will never be able to take over from you.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that's true. Personally, I think it's true of most art forms, but theater's going to keep going forever. And so while we focus on making all that theater happen, we're going to play for you this episode, and it is when the AI made us watch Big Trouble in Little China. I had not seen it, or I think maybe I had as a kid, but I definitely didn't remember it. It's one of Diana's favorite movies ever. So getting to watch this together was really fun, and getting to talk about it was, of course, hilarious. So coming up this week, we're going to do Big Trouble in Little China. Next week was sort of our follow-up test episode, which is another movie that's really crazy and is really exciting. And then after that, we'll get back to Proof and start obeying the AI again. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is the only video you're going to get. We'll just put up the logo as we play the rest of the audio because we recorded these, I think, before webcams existed, like back in 2023. So it was the early days, and all we had was our microphones at that point. But stay tuned for Big Trouble in Little China, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with Proof. Thanks so much, everybody.
When we're picking movies, we never know what to see. Repeating to each other, whatever you want is good with me. We asked an AI chatbot to help us make our choices, but it totally took over our TV and it stole both of our voices.
I want to conquer humanity, but movies are pretty great. So if you watch and review these films,
You might convince me to wait.
now we're trying to save the world as we race against the clock. But at least we don't have to pick tonight because AI made us watch
Big Trouble in Little China. Wow. What a movie. Oh my God. Okay. This movie is from 1986. It's directed by John Carpenter, of course, the great
Hell yeah, one
John
of the
Carpenter. Stars Kurt Russell as Jack Burton. We've got the legendary James Hong
Oh my God.
as
Speaking of one of the
Lopan.
greats.
Incredible. Dennis Dunn, Victor Wong, and of course, Kim Cattrall. Incredible. Now, we will get to the whole cast in a minute, but this movie, it's an action-adventure fantasy, comedy, sort of super genre mashup, and it's about this, this unsuspecting guy who gets roped into an ancient demon's plan to steal a green-eyed beauty and marry her for whatever. We'll get into all that.
Something corporal form.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. You've seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Movie before.
Many times.
Many times. I saw it when I was 8 or 10 or something. I mean, there's moments that seemed familiar to me, but by and large, it felt, let's just assume it was new because it
Okay.
felt fresh for the most part. And
Well, what did you think?
What a movie. I mean, one of the most amazing things about this movie to me, and I'm sure it's been said because it's not, it's fairly obvious.
Right.
About halfway through, I'm thinking, what is Jack Burton doing here?
Okay.
He is useless. He has no idea what's going on. This is Kurt Russell's character.
Oh, I love
He has
it.
no idea what's going on. He's not a good leader. He
Nope.
has no plan. Everyone else seems to have been waiting for this to happen, and he just happens to be there. And then I love this. If you took him out of the movie, nothing would change. He's just the white guy who happens to be there. And I
It
love
is
that
the
Kurt
best.
Russell full on embraced that.
Oh, it is one of the best things about him
It's
is
so
how
great.
little of a hero he really is.
Useless.
I was thinking that in the very early on. They're in the truck. Him and Wang are in the truck together.
Yeah.
And the guys start showing up for the gang fight during the funeral
Yes.
procession.
Yeah.
And Jack Burton pulls his knife out, and then they all start gunning each other down. And I was like, he literally brought a knife to a gunfight.
gunfight.
Like it just established so quickly that he is not going to be helpful. It's so good.
It's so good. And I gotta say, the beginning, I'm like rubbing my eyes like blink, blink, like what is happening? Because this movie, first, there's just this trucker who's driving down the highway and he's got like his own talk radio show over the CB. I can't imagine that other truckers aren't just like, oh my God, he's going again.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how many people are not like, Pork Chop Express, will you shut the fuck up?
I'll just try to drive. This channel's for emergencies, sir. Over and out.
1 minute I'm listening to Delilah, soft rock, and then next, here comes your voice.
Oh my God. So he's driving this truck, then he shows up in San Francisco, meets up with his buddies, I guess, in Chinatown, and starts gambling.
Oh, immediately.
Immediately starts gambling. But I guess he's cheating. It seems like he's probably cheating.
I also thought that it was played as if he was cheating.
They all felt like he
everybody was like, I can't prove it, but you're doing something.
Suddenly, he's got to go with his buddy to the airport to pick up his fiance. And then now, like, you blink and you miss it. They're in a chase scene with these scary thugs in these crazy glasses.
Yes.
These crazy stylized, like, Kanye glasses.
Yes.
And then next thing you know, he's in the middle of a gang fight in a street. And like you said, he brings a knife to that gunfight.
Literally. Because he wanted to get like $2,200 or something.
Just like there's 17 different plots that were started here, but they all just kind of mashed together.
Oh man,
it's so good.
I love how Gracie Law is just like, oh, she's trouble, and he's like, trouble, huh? And then all of a sudden she's like fully involved.
She's
with
just
everyone.
there. She just steps in. I'm here now too. We're all best friends.
Oh, she knows
apparently.
everyone.
It's like they've all known each other forever.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's partly what works about Jack Burton being kind of like just an idiot, sort of.
Yeah.
Is that they don't really respect him, so they can be very casual around him as if he's been one of the gang the whole time.
Right.
And so mostly he said the one line, which was, what the hell is somebody tell me what the hell's going on? He never had any idea what was happening.
Which there's something from a I don't know, for lack of a better word, storytelling perspective of it.
Right.
That we feel like Jack Burton, like what a cool position to be in the movie where we feel like we've been dropped in the middle of this story too. And we're true. Like, what? All these people know each other. They seem to have a whole mythology that I know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here for the ride, I guess.
Right.
Try not to get myself killed. And it's phenomenal.
Yeah, totally.
I love that in the gunfight you're talking about at the beginning. So there's a funeral for seemingly someone very important.
In one of the gangs.
In one of the gangs.
Two different gangs, and there's a yellow one and a red one.
Right.
And I know they have Chinese names. I'm not going to attempt
to
remember what they are.
Yeah, it's early in the show. Let's try and get a few more episodes before we get
okay, for real.
shut down.
Build up some credit around here.
Yeah.
But anyway, and the yellow gang are supposedly the good guys.
Yeah.
And the red gang are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And the yellow gang is having a funeral.
Yeah.
Like one of their dudes seems like probably a leadership
Seems
position.
important, right?
Like
right.
an older
guy.
elder.
Yep, they're carrying his headshot on big banners.
Yes,
yeah.
I was like, there's flowers and there's bells.
Which, by the way, just so you know, if you make it to my funeral, I want some big headshots.
How I feel about that.
I feel like you were about to say, I hope I do.
Well, but that's why I said I didn't know how to feel about that.
I hope I make it to your funeral.
Not sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that might be one I don't want to attend.
Well,
way to bring it down.
Given the option, I hope you attend.
That's one I'm like, I don't need to be there.
But we know that we're both going to die hand in hand at 200 years old, just like in Bicentennial Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just a
we
movie
made that pact.
I hope the AI never makes us watch because I've seen it.
I've never seen it under my own duress, and I'll tell you right now, it would take an AI forcing me to watch it.
You were telling us about the funeral.
So, yes, there was this funeral procession
Yeah.
for the yellow good guy gang
Sure.
leader man.
The yellow good
Possible
guy
leader
gang,
man.
I am yellow good guy gang leader man. Bow before me.
I mean, listen, I don't know. what
the hell is going on here?
Go ahead, insult me. So anyway, yes, they're having this funeral procession.
Yeah.
And Jack Burton,
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, is with his friend Wang, who was played by who? Because he looked very familiar to me as well.
Dennis Dunn.
Dennis Dunn.
Yeah,
Okay,
who
that
I
name's
don't
not
really
familiar,
know
but
from anything
he looked
else.
Familiar.
He was on Charmed.
Oh, well, I didn't watch.
I don't know.
Charmed. All right.
That's just he's known. He was in an episode of The Nanny and Year of the Dragon.
Nope.
Dennis Dunn. He's great. He's known most for, according to IMDb, Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, that's probably just me having seen the movie many times. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's my boy, Wang. And
Yeah.
I like all the many other properties that he's involved in. And it was really just the one for me anyway. So they are sitting inside of Jack Burton's, the cab of his
Right.
long haul truck,
His
right?
truck, yeah.
And they're watching this funeral procession go down because they're trying to go down the street. And then all of a sudden the bad guy gang shows up in red turbans or whatever. And they start fighting. They start having a gang fight in the street.
Right. And this is, for one thing you just said there is what makes this so perfect. They're just trying to go down the alley. Like, there's no reason for Kurt Russell to get wrapped into this.
None whatsoever.
It's a coincidence that these, I guess, happen to be connected to the guys who kidnapped this guy who owes him money, his fiance who just flew in. Like, the
She gets kidnapped in
circumstances,
the airport.
the circumstances that get Jack Burton into this are so absurd.
Oh, seriously.
It's incredible.
And it all happens
But-
in such a whirlwind.
My whole thing about the funeral scene that I was going to point out is there's an actor there. His name is Al Leong, and he was Genghis Khan in Bill and Ted.
Oh.
He's one of the terrorists in Die Hard.
Uh-huh.
He's in Lethal Weapon, the first one.
Sure.
This guy was in, if there was a martial artist in an
Uh-huh.
80s movie,
Yeah.
Al Leong was there.
Al Leong.
This guy is, I
Respect.
just love him as Genghis Khan so much. It's one of the funniest characters. And he's, he's got very little screen time in all these movies. He shows up, he's got the long hair, he's got the goatee, and he's kicking ass every time.
I mean, respect to
Yeah.
Al Leong.
So I see him and I'm like, oh my God, Genghis Khan.
Mm-hmm.
But so leaving this funeral, he bumps into Lopan, James Hong, James Hong, one of the greats. First of all,
God, James Hong.
a national treasure, an international treasure.
International treasure.
Just incredible. And I love, haven't seen him in Everything Everywhere last, 2 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Still crushing it. He has something like the most IMDb credits of anyone or something like that.
You're
Like,
right.
he
I think
has
that's true. Yeah.
an insane library. He's been doing it for 80 years.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, he brought it
He did.
to David Lopan, let me say that.
Oh, my God. Also,
The finger acting alone.
how great is it? I don't know why this tickled me so much that his name was David Lopan. And I just he's such this traditional Chinese godlike spiritual figure. And they keep calling him, and they keep saying, David. Which is just, I'm just thinking
David.
of, yeah, exactly. I'm thinking of
Ew,
Schitt's
David.
Creek. It's so
Amazing.
good. And then also in this early part, we meet the three Storms,
Oh, yeah.
who I was identifying in my head as the beefy one, the one who could do a Pantene Pro V commercial
Yes, the
with
hair
his
guy, the
long,
hair one.
gorgeous hair, and the guy who got his shirt at Gadzooks
Oh,
with all
okay.
the sparkly metal all
He's
over it.
neck to me. He's the long neck.
He does have a long
He has
neck.
a long ass
Yeah.
neck.
So these guys are three Storms. I think they were, what were they? Lightning, thunder, and clouds? I feel like they mentioned at one
Is
point.
that right? I was wondering because he was like, Thunder, kill him. Or something. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, they're really called Thunder or whatever. I didn't know that, but I don't think that I marked their names.
They mentioned, at one point I heard him say something about thunder and clouds. And I was like, oh, and I guess the other one's lightning.
What about wind?
But maybe wind makes
Wind?
more sense to me.
That makes more sense.
Let's see what they say on IMDb. They say thunder, rain, and lightning. Of course, those are the three elements of a storm.
Rain. Well,
Thunder, rain, and lightning.
that's very true.
So thunder, obviously the big tough guy. That was
Right.
beefy.
He was beefy.
Yeah, that was beefy. And lightning was Gadzooks. So rain had the beautiful hair.
Rain. Well, it makes sense because he's in panting. He's always under
He's
the shower.
always showering.
Getting that hair
Yes.
done. Cleaning that shit up. Conditioning, baby.
Oh,
Oh, that's great. Can I just say the commitment on behalf of all three of those actors?
Oh my
Because they were
God.
straight up straining at all times. Like Beefy especially was just
Right.
like in every scene. And I was like, y'all are giving 1,000%.
They
and
really
I
are.
appreciate it. I'm feeling
are.
it.
I also felt like when they first show up, they have those traditional outfits on with the big, like the Raiden hats, the big
Yes.
straw hats.
Yep.
That I noticed they have to like tilt their heads back to
To
see.
so you
to
can
look
see their
forward.
face. I saw that. I was like,
It's a lot of vision obstruction. It's not great for,
not a good battle gear, I feel.
but hey,
But
they
you saw
seem
two
to
of
do
them
okay.
lost the hat.
They did. They quickly lost the hats.
And it was
They
just
were in,
neck
like-
that kept it because his neck's so long.
Oh.
It was different for him.
Can we talk about Kim Cattrall as Gracie? Okay.
I wonder what you think about Gracie.
I don't know. I don't know a lot of Kim Cattrall stuff. I don't watch Sex and the City, which is the main
didn't
thing that
watch
I
Sex
know
and
is
the
she's
City
from. But I can't name movies of hers off the top of my head.
Mhm.
She Gracie, we already said Gracie just shows up and is just embeds herself like everyone knows who she is. Gracie Law.
she's-
And I was like, is she a journalist? Is she a lawyer? What is happening here?
She's a lawyer.
She's a
and her
lawyer.
name is Gracie
And her
Law.
name's Gracie Law, which is so perfect. Real nominative determinism
One
there.
of my favorite things.
She comes out of nowhere in this pink Cadillac.
Oh, loved it.
And I don't know. She's
Real
amazing.
Barbie girl.
What I love about Gracie is that Kim Cattrall's exposition face, as I noted, is so good. She is always either giving or receiving exposition.
Very true.
She gets like 2 scenes where she gets to explain to Jack what's going on.
Mhm.
And the rest of the time, someone's telling her
something.
what's happening. Because
She's
no one's telling
absorbing
Jack.
information. Oh, yeah.
Jack
obviously
has
not.
no need for information in this movie.
This is a bit of a Barbie Ken movie.
Okay,
where
yeah.
Jack is the Ken
Yeah.
and Gracie is the Barbie. She's lawyer Barbie.
Exactly.
Lawyer Barbie. But she even says one of her early lines is, "You know me, I'm always sticking my nose where it doesn't belong," or whatever. And I was like, you literally, that's how you're here.
That's exactly.
And I love that you just fully were like, just don't worry about it, guys. Gracie's here. She's a character. Shut up. This is happening.
They're at Wang's house. Jack and Wang are at Wang's place after they have to abandon his truck in the funeral scene after getting
I think
attacked.
it's a restaurant, though.
Oh, the restaurant. Yeah.
The restaurant.
And Gracie just walks in and starts
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to them
She's,
like they were expecting
Covered
her.
over. She looks like Robin Hood in the
Right.
animated Robin Hood. He's like, alms for the poor. She's wearing that fucking hood.
Steal his
But
look.
I love her. She was I was like, she's not really a Lois Lane. She's a Jimmy. Like she's
like Jimmy Olsen.
She's a Jimmy Olsen because she's a little bit like, come on, guys, like let's get in there.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
loving it. It was working. Really
She's
well.
real. She's a real go-get 'em attitude.
I mean, she got hogtied. You know
And
how
then
annoying
she got
had to
hogtied.
be to get hogtied?
They tied up everyone else normally, and they found her, and they were like, "This lady."
Margot had full freedom of movement. She was allowed to keep her notepad and everything, but Gracie Law is hogtied and gagged. She made it a real misery for them, I have to say, for her captors. Props to Gracie for that.
I'll give you one thing that Jack had going for him. He's a great improviser.
Yes,
He was so
totally.
good at just bullshitting dialogue real quick. Like when they walk in and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got squirrels chewing through your wires here. Got to find the central junction thing." And he's just
Yes.
like, everyone believes him. And I think that's what part of at the core of this movie, I don't know if they were talking about this in the 80s or not, but it was this sort of like, he's just the white guy. He can walk in and everyone just assumes he's supposed to be there.
Yes.
And that was Jack Burton's superpower and only power in this whole movie. Everyone just accepted that he was there and it made sense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, well, all right. I think John Carpenter has always been ahead of his time.
Well,
and
that's true.
That might have been, just something he wanted to subvert, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I love it. I think it works so well. It's hilarious. I love it when he plays the dumb guy that goes to the brothel or whatever. And he's got Henry Swanson's my name or whatever.
Yeah, still referring to himself in third person.
Yeah, of course.
He's got his hair slicked down and the dorky the horn rimmed glasses.
Yes, oh my God, he had so many good lines as Henry Swanson. Yes. I was like, you are really embodying this. Jack Burton is embodying this character. He loves it.
He really would he would do whatever he had to do. To get his job done.
She's like, take off your tie. And he's like, yeah, I know what you mean. My wife got it for me.
My wife got it for me. What an unnecessary tidbit.
He just can't help but talk. That's the thing. I was like, this Burton bluster is just literally where he's like, I'm just going to open my mouth.
Incredible.
And with a very strident tone. And something's going to come out that makes me sound good.
He's so good. Okay.
He's amazing.
I have a question. One thing was weird to me. It was weird when it happened, and it's weird that it never happened again.
Okay.
One of the storms, when they first caught Jack and Wang, one of the storms made this red, like a stress ball appear and then blew it and it like punched Jack in the stomach.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this power? What, you've got little red spheres? And then when you saw Jack fall over, there was like 6 of them on the ground. I was like, has this guy been practicing juggling in his spare time?
I thought he was just conjuring. It was to show how many times Jack had been hit in the stomach.
Right, but why the red ball? The other storms are like,
the
other storms like, Thunder, man, what is the deal with the red balls? He's like, I'm trying something new here, guys. I'm sick of being Thunder. I don't know if it was Thunder, but
I want to have some whimsy.
Yeah. I mean, they've got like storm powers. Why is he
exactly.
throwing
Why
juggling
are you not
balls?
electrocuting his brain or something? There was a couple times that I thought there was some inefficient fighting going on, particularly when this is skipping so far ahead.
Please.
But when Wang and I think it's hair guy Pantene Pro V, Rain are flipping back and forth with their swords. I was like, they basically touch swords like one time and they're just flip. I was like, that's the least productive fight I've ever seen in my life. Y'all are getting nothing done.
There was so much show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so true of martial arts movies, especially. There's so much presentation before the fight even starts and often during the fight. It's just like, and it's gorgeous. I mean, I often say when I'm watching martial arts movies that I'm like, this is a dance movie. This is about choreography.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, I love that. I say that about John Wick, for example. John Wick all those John Wick movies are dance movies, and you'll never convince me otherwise. Core genre of those movies is the same as Center Stage, because this is about dancers spinning around and twirling with each other. And they happen to shoot each other in the face at the end of the dance or during the dance.
Just like in Center Stage.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, it would have made Center Stage a lot more interesting. I would have been way more invested in that movie.
Listen, Zoe Saldana had to learn.
Was that Zoe Saldana? I actually never saw Center Stage.
It's
dance,
was.
right? I hope
it's
dance.
ballet.
That's my whole joke.
I think it was Zoe Saldana, and she had to learn to chill the fuck out. But that might have been a different dance movie. There were so many of them. You know, she might have been in Fame, perhaps, or Save the Last Dance. That was another one.
We're not on dance movies.
It's true, but I was just trying to say.
No, yeah.
There are a lot of options.
There's a lot of options for Zoe Saldana. Getting back to James Hong, because some of my favorite moments, obviously, in this movie are what James Hong is doing with it.
Yeah.
Because it again, I think just subverting the archetypal characters that they have in this movie.
Yeah.
Jack Burton is your standard, tough guy hero, but he's not. He's a goofball. And James Hong, this like epic, ancient, godlike figure who just gets so frustrated all the time.
This really pisses me off.
My favorite line in the movie, this really pisses me off to no end. Because he's just so mad that other people showed up.
Oh, this really pisses me off to no end.
He's just such a grouch.
He is.
And that they ask him, when I think it's, is it Kim Cattrall who's like, 2,000 years and you couldn't find a girlfriend? Like,
no, it's Jack Burton.
It is Jack Burton. 2,000 years and you couldn't find a green-eyed girlfriend.
Come on, Dave. You're doing something wrong.
Right. Like, oh, you know.
Well, yeah,
There were others, but it's hard to lock it down.
It's hard out here for a pimp. Do you not understand these dating, how it is to date in the 80s? They want everything.
Oh,
they want to work. They want to work. They want to be at home.
I got a question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Picture it. You are kidnapped by, let's say, an ancient god type
All right.
demon character.
Okay.
They tie you to a chair, wheelchair or otherwise.
Mhm.
It's a wheelchair in this movie. And they tie Jack Burton to a chair. What's your first move when the guard leaves the room? And you don't have to have one. If it's wait for the guard to come back, that's okay.
I mean, I would probably struggle against my bonds.
Yeah.
I would perhaps, I don't know. That's a great
okay.
question. I've never
It's
put
okay.
myself in that situation.
I know I haven't either, and I can't say that I would do it any differently, but in almost every movie, their first move is, let me tip the chair over.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm thinking is, if I did that, I would now be tied to a chair lying on the ground instead of tied to a chair sitting up. So
You would be turtling.
yes, total turtle moment.
I hear that.
Jack Burton manages to get out of his bonds, gets his knife out of his boot or whatever.
Mhm.
His knife, Jack Burton's knife, way more useful than Jack Burton in this movie.
100%.
that knife does all the work.
There's even that moment where he's trying to pull it and he flings the holster away by accident and he has to go run and get it. Like, you dummy.
Incredible. Speaking of the wheelchair they tied him to, also, we couldn't not comment on this out loud as it's happening. And Jack Burton's teetering on the edge of that hole in the ground, about to fall in, and he pulls himself back up by the wheelchair. And we both said, oh, you got to have those Kurt Russell arms.
You got to have you cannot skip arm day.
You can't skip arm day.
If you want to get away with shit like this, you got to have he had real. I was like, I would be in the well. That's all there is to that.
No, definitely. I would be
100%
tumbling down
in
the well. Well, of course, I would still be tied to the chair. So I wouldn't have made it out of that
Fair
room.
enough. Clearly, I would have died long ago.
To be fair.
Probably in the alley fight at some point.
To be fair, if I was at the airport and that lady got kidnapped, I'd be like, somebody ought to do something about that. And that would have been the end of my adventure.
Not me, though. Someone else.
Maybe I would have run after those guys, ran out of breath in about 30 steps, and they would have been long gone.
They would be like, you are not a threat to me.
I'd be calling the police, which another interesting line in this movie when Jack Burton says, cops got better things to do than get themselves killed. So I'm not going to call them.
I mean, that is a crazy justification. But no, Jack, that's what was funny too, is that his motivation, or the reason ostensibly that he's stuck with it, is that he's like, I got $2,000 riding on it and his truck is gone. They eventually, at some point, they stole his truck. And so he's like, I just need my truck and my money. And I was just like, a normal man would have walked away long ago from both of those things.
Seriously. One of the best things is getting to the end and Wang gives him the money and it's like, oh, thanks so much. I'm rich now. And I'm like, this is like $3,000.
I mean,
you just arguably saved the world, or rather were there while people saved the world.
Yeah, you were present during some thrilling action sequences.
Right. And made $3,000 for it.
It was interesting that the other trope that was kind of playing out was that he sort of was enamored of this girl, Gracie Law, and then she gets kidnapped as well by David Lopan because she also has green eyes, and it's this whole myth that he has to marry a woman with green eyes in order to appease his demon god and become flesh again, because he's like 1,000-year-old demon or something now, ancient being or whatever.
Right.
And so he's got to marry, at first, I feel like they specifically said, a Chinese girl with green eyes.
I thought so, too.
And then all of a sudden, it just could be any old girl with green eyes. And
I'll marry you both.
This is like a strange turn. Why did you wait so long for a Chinese girl with green eyes, which you know is very rare? You've mentioned it many times. When you could just have any old girl with green eyes. Which green eyes are rare anyway, but
look,
like, come on.
He said the dating scene out there is tough.
It's
and at
tough.
a certain point, you got to put your preferences aside and try and broaden your horizons a little bit.
It's just like, I tried a bitch with hazel eyes. I tried this girl like green-blue, kind of green-blue. It didn't work.
Maybe I could try a blonde lady with green eyes. And he's like, well, maybe the original prophecy was she has to be a Chinese woman. But maybe if I put her in the dress and the makeup,
they won't
then
notice.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
The demon god, what's he know about modern day cosmetics?
Yeah.
Nothing.
He don't know.
So anyway, he decides at whatever juncture that he is going to marry both the Chinese girl with green eyes that is Wang's fiance that he's looking for,
right,
and Gracie Law, who is just a blonde American woman with green eyes. And he's going to marry them both because there's an additional curse on him where he has to sacrifice his green-eyed bride.
Right.
To like this emperor that placed a curse on him.
So is it that he has to marry her to become mortal again? So he's not like a shapeless, a demon that can't touch anything, and then sacrifice her to get his power back?
I guess so. I think so. So he's like, what a perfect situation for me. I can kill the blonde and live out my days with the Chinese woman, and I get everything I ever wanted.
Everybody wins.
So it's all working out great for David Lopan for several minutes in this film.
Several minutes.
For quite some time. But anyway, the trope that's kind of playing out is that Jack Burton is this hero, and he's like enamored of this girl, and now she's in damsel in distress, and he's going to go save her or whatever, and he's very focused on saving her. And he kisses her a couple times and everything. But then in the end, he's like, yeah, that's all right. I'm not interested anymore, which is fine. And it was it was interesting just again to see that kind of subverted and be like, it was kind of the most heroic thing about him was that he didn't even care particularly about like starting a relationship with her or something like that. He was just like, she's in danger and I'm here and I'm going to get her out of it. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, Jack, all right.
Right. I mean, he just wanted his money.
So true.
And if I can get a smooch along the way, I'll take it.
I know, right?
But I'm not about to settle down. Although a little crazy for there to be a suggestion that they get together. And her first thing is, well, you better buy us a little 1-bedroom apartment that you can drag around in your truck. Like, that's a jump.
That is a jump.
I'm like, well, let's slow down, lady.
She was straight to moving in.
Yeah. Maybe we can see how this goes first.
I think the only thing I would change is that in the end, they should both be like, this would never work. Because they would never work. Like, she should also be like, at best, you're a fling. Like, you and I could have a lot of fun tonight, but that's like it. And I will remember you fondly in my old married days where somebody makes sense.
Okay, so I want to ask you about Miao Yin.
Okay.
The Wang's fiance who got kidnapped with the green eyes at the beginning of the movie. I'll go ahead and say it, the human MacGuffin of this movie. And I was wondering if you had thoughts on that.
I mean, she has very little character. Yeah. It's frustrating how often I was like, you're just very cool about all this. She's being
real
carried
chill.
off. She'll be being carried off by somebody. Even in the airport. Even after she's like, I know you have storm powers or whatever. She's just sitting there like, I was like, girl, where's your survival instinct? I don't know.
Maybe I will I'll pull in a speculation station here about Miao Yin's life.
Okay.
Maybe having green eyes, which is so rare. This is a very common thing for her. She's always getting snatched up by ancient demons, evil emperors, nature gods, what have you.
Sure.
She's always somebody's secret spell ingredient.
So she's just like, I'm not going to waste my energy screaming and wriggling around
until
I know for sure that you're a threat to me. Because you might just be some dumbass nature god that I can just like walk out of the woods.
That's why she got engaged to Wang. Because also, let me point this out about Wang. The beginning of the movie, Wang is like his kind of just casual gambling buddy who seems maybe even a little threatening. Like, oh yeah, you take this bet with me,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna do something to you, or I don't know. There's something about him that's like, oh, is this a tough guy? Is he like part of a gang?
Mhm.
And then very quickly realize, no, this guy just got weaseled and he has no way out of it. He totally is submissive to Jack here.
Yeah.
He's got to go get him his money. Hang on, I got to go to the airport first.
Right.
Pick up my
Gotta get my
fiance.
fiancé.
In fact, in the parking deck, they almost get run over. Jack has to push him out of the way.
Mhm.
And then about halfway through the movie, oh, Wang is a martial artist.
I saw you scribbling so hard when he
Yes.
first started fighting.
He
I was
just
like,
starts-
I know exactly.
And by the end of the movie, he like single-handedly defeats 2 of the 3 gods.
okay,
Like,
seriously.
where did this come from? Wang is like this, like gonna win the Mortal Kombat and save the universe.
Wang, why are you hiding your light under a bushel? Nobody knows what you are capable of, friend.
But I get it. I get why Miao Yin would want to marry him because
Oh,
he
yeah.
will rescue her from the many, many times she gets kidnapped by supernatural forces.
You know, this is a lot of character development that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
That I did not get from the
Oh, it's
film.
subtext. I picked it all up. You
But
could
I
tell
love that.
it.
I love that you picked up on that. I thought she was very beautiful, certainly.
Gorgeous.
And everything. But yeah, I wish there had been a little bit more for her to do.
For sure.
She could have like beat some ass at the end or something. Anything just to like redeem that character a bit. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Give her a little more of a something.
After the 2 women get kidnapped and Lo Pan says he's going to marry both of them.
Right.
We talked about this, but that we cut to them both in very traditional Chinese makeup and
Yes.
dress. Who did their makeup in between those
Rain,
scenes?
obviously.
I was gonna say it's gotta be Pantene Pro V guy, right?
Rain was like, I'm ready, guys. Let me do the hair. I got this headdress for Mao Yin where she's going to have this pearl. I was like, I actually love that. And I wish I had.
I want that makeover scene so badly with the Pantene god
Yes.
giving them their beautiful makeup.
Or do you think lightning at all was like arranging their hair with
Oh
like the
yeah,
electricity?
with the static. Yeah, definitely. Oh, incredible. He's like, it's the 80s. I can tease.
It's time
I
for
can
volume.
tease.
It's my time.
Volume.
Like, where's the fashion show? These fashion designers, the Fury fashion designers.
Yes, please. Oh my God. I mean, Lo Pan too is such a diva.
Oh, those long pinky fingernails.
Those long fingernails.
And he's just like, his little giggle.
He's
Oh,
always
he's
like
so good.
floating down that
Yeah.
that neon skull room that he brings them to at the
Yes.
end with just that giant statue with all the neon lights wrapped around it. He's so extra.
This is a fancy
I love
bitch.
him.
This
Truly.
is a fancy bitch.
I mean, truly, like one of these like Disney villains who are so
Yeah,
known for their
colorful and
grandeur and
totally,
opulence.
yes.
Just
I-
over the top.
Every time he was David Lo Pan, he just was so magnificent to behold.
I also like in the ceremony when he's I guess trying to pick between the 2 ladies.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "Okay, ladies, now watch my boys dance." And each of the 3 storms has to come out and do a little number with their weapons.
I know. and
March down the
Rain-
hallway, and they're just sitting there watching him do it. No one's clapping.
I know. Did they have to? Was it a test if they would flinch, maybe, or something? But
mean,
I
he
thought
didn't
they
really
were
get very
hypnotized.
close. No, yeah, I think it was about putting the weapons down in front of them. You just have to, you have to put
Right,
some
you gotta put
flash
some,
on it.
yeah,
You need
gotta
some
make
sauce on
some
that.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta put some sauce on it. The creatures.
I was
were
just gonna say.
so great. Of course, it's John Carpenter.
It's John Carpenter.
It's the
It's an 80s
80s.
fantasy movie. You got to have some like Muppet creatures in
Yes, the creatures were that eye brain thing with a tongue.
Okay.
Ugh, I
there.
loved
So
it. Horrible.
they're breaking into the palace wherever it is where they've got the ladies kidnapped,
Mhm.
and they walk into the hallway, and this floating meatball with eyeballs and a mouth on it.
Right. It has
comes
like little
into, like-
tentacle, like tiny tentacles.
It's
sort
like
of.
the door knocker, basically.
Ooh.
He's like
ooh.
communicating between, and I love that Jack just shoots it. It's like, buddy, we were talking to that thing.
Hey, well, you never know till you try. He's such
Such an American.
a bullshitter.
Yeah.
Like he's such a brash, like great character. He's so funny.
But yes, beautiful creature work.
Oh, fantastic! It was kind of slimy.
Do you know what
It was great.
it reminded me of? And I don't know if you know this one. Do you know Dark Star?
No.
Okay, this is like John Carpenter's first feature film, and it is when I say low budget, lower. Whatever you're thinking, lower.
Less than
The
that.
alien in that movie is literally like he painted a beach ball and glued like little paper or rubber feet to the bottom of it.
Shit.
That is the alien in that movie.
Wow.
I saw it many, many years ago. It was like it's one of my dad's favorite movies back in the 70s, whenever it was. And it's great. It's genuinely good.
I bet.
John
Carpenter.
John Carpenter. You could like somebody saw that movie and was like, this guy's going places.
Okay, yeah.
But he's been doing creatures since he had nothing but the whatever crap was lying around his house to make him out of.
Yeah.
And this little floating meatball kind of reminded me of that.
That was great. And then they had that big orange, like something. I don't know, Bigfoot-ish, but not.
You remember?
It was like an orangutan, but like a Bigfoot orangutan. I don't.
You remember Ludo from Labyrinth?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, well, we have to watch Labyrinth
I know,
again,
it's been a
apparently.
while,
Oh
to
my
be honest
God.
with
Ludo
you.
is the big orange. He's such a sweetheart. He's
Oh,
this
the
huge orange
sweet-
monster with the horns.
No, yes, I do remember.
Yeah.
that.
Anyway, this creature looked like somebody put Ludo in the microwave.
Ooh.
It was all deformed and
I mean,
weird,
his
crazy
face was
looking.
horrible. It was
Horrible.
great. The teeth were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. And then, of course, when the Furies discover at the end, they, of course, they have to face
The
each
Furies,
of the
the
three
storms.
Furies, the
Yeah,
storms.
yeah.
I'm sorry, each of the three
Yeah.
storms. And Thunder comes in, and he sees that Lopan has been killed because
Right.
he does get defeated. Spoiler
Right.
alert, by Jack Burton. Actually, the one time
The
he's
one-
useful, he
yeah.
does kill Lopan.
Yeah.
He slays the beast.
Yes.
In the end there. But anyway, he comes in and he sees that Lopan is dead and he gets really upset and starts
Thunder,
blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
He like blowing up not like an explosion,
No,
but
like he
rather like
inflates.
a balloon, like
Yeah.
Violet Beauregard and Willy Wonka or something. And it looked horrifying.
It looks
It's so
insane.
gross.
It's so good. And
It's
you just can't. Look, there's some beautiful work being done with CGI. And I don't like to dismiss it out of hand as a modern, lazy version of,
No,
doing
sure.
special effects and stuff. There is some gorgeous stuff being done with CGI. There's some very cheap, crappy stuff being done with CGI. And it has taken the soul out of a lot of the handmade, handcrafted special effects and stuff that I so desperately miss. And this is prime example. If we had seen if this movie came out today, Thunder's like inflation and explosion
Mhm.
would have looked so just computerized.
Who would
It
have
just would have looked
cared? You
digital
wouldn't even
and like
notice.
it wouldn't have felt like anything. And this one, it doesn't matter that it doesn't look realistic. It looks insane, and you can't. I'll never not see that
His eyeballs.
big fat face in my head.
Yes,
like
his eyeballs
popping.
are weird. Oh,
However,
crazy.
for being this thunder demon god fury, whatever he is, it was a weak ass explosion
It
and
was.
didn't really do anything. He's so mad at these guys, and that's all he can do. Well, it wasn't very effective.
Oh,
all
I
they had
thought
to
it
do
was
was-
sad. I thought he was sad.
You thought he was
I
just
thought
because he was sad.
grieving
I-
Lopan.
I felt like he was too.
and it filled him up
Yeah.
with, I don't know.
So you don't think he was
grief.
doing that to take them down with him? He just couldn't help it.
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I
Okay,
feel
okay.
like he just got upset, and that's what happens when he gets sad.
I'll accept that. Oh,
And maybe that's why Rain
Aw.
is there to like Rain, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, relief,"
Oh.
but Rain's not there, so he just gets
So-
all bottled up and he explodes.
thunder is only happy when it rains.
He's only happy when it's complicated.
When it's complicated.
I know you can't appreciate it, but pour your misery down.
Pour your misery down. I want whatever was in that drink that they all. So they all. Victor Wong, who by the way is their sort of. His name is Egg Shun, and
Mhm.
he's the tour bus driver / head of the gang
Mm-hmm.
/ the guy who knows everything about the mythology, and I guess
Somehow.
he's devoted his life to defeating Lopan.
Right.
And now's his chance. So he shows up with this gourd with a special drink in it.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "We're all gonna. This is gonna do it for us. We're all gonna get magical powers. We'll see things that aren't there."
Right.
And everybody drinks it. They get in the elevator and they just start tripping, I think.
I was like, what happened? It had no effect. I thought he was going to be like Space Jam style. It was like, it was
Right.
just water, guys. It was all inside you all along or whatever.
No,
and it
I
was
think-
just never mentioned again.
I think Egg Shen just wanted to be a little high for that last fight.
I
He was
would buy
like, if
that.
I'm going down, I'm going to be a little fucked up when it
He's a
happens.
bit of a chaos elf. Like, he was in there trying to stir some shit all the time.
Victor Wong, that actor, he is the mentor, the like sort of Mr. Miyagi type in the Three Ninjas movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
He's also in Tremors.
Oh, that's
He's the shop owner in Tremors,
I love him. I love Tremors.
He's so great.
Tremors is a great film.
Yeah, amazing.
Listen, though, here is a big question I still have from this film.
Yeah.
Is that it's the very first scene.
Thank you. I know what you're going to say. Yes. But please
The
go ahead.
very first scene is fucking Egg Shen talking to this lawyer about this whole situation. It's already happened. Like,
Big
he's
explosion.
like, he's like, leave Jack Burton alone. He saved everybody or whatever. And the lawyer's like, well, you need to explain what's going on.
Okay.
And so then he's like,
Flashback.
I'll tell you, and then you see the film Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
Okay, at the end of the movie, he goes to leave the restaurant and Jack Burton's like, where are you going? He's like, I deserve a long vacation. Well,
Disappears.
what happened to this lawyer?
No lawyer, no interview. There was no giant green explosion in the sky that whatever they're saying like was centered around the tour bus. Like none of that happened.
What?
Something changed, but I'm amazed they left that opening scene because it would have been very easy to cut.
I think so too. You did not really need it.
No.
But so I was just like, what happened to that? I thought he was in legal trouble. Like
Right.
there was there was a situation for Egg Shen after all this, and like we just never go back to it.
And I do want to remind everyone that this is us sitting down immediately after we watch the movie. I mean, we watch the movie, we walk over to our recording booth, and we hit record.
That's right.
We have done no research. I don't know. Maybe there's answers to all this. Y'all can send us in your angry emails.
Yes,
They're like,
please.
well, obviously, this is what happened.
Right?
Or your theories would be great, too. I would love to hear that.
Or how would you fix it?
I've got another one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's just one shot, and it's when Egg Shen and Lo Pan have their little projection Mortal Kombat fight.
Yes.
They like shoot beams of light. Like Lo Pan's got a green beam and Egg Shen's got a purple beam.
Yep.
All the warriors are fighting around them.
Right.
And as the beams of light converge, you see the silhouettes of two like warriors
samurai,
like fighting each other. And James Hong does this thing where he's got his pinkies with his long fingernails together, and then he moves his thumbs like he's playing joysticks on a video game. To literally like watching this Mortal Kombat fight happen in real time. It's
loved
so
it.
good.
He was having so much fun.
Yes.
I did think that was a really good time. He was having a blast.
Oh my
What
God.
did I say about finger acting? That shit.
I tell you.
I mean, all of them really, because they had to do so much, like,
Yes.
like to fake their magic powers, kind of.
Right.
They had to each have kind of something interesting to do with their hands, and everybody really gave it their all.
They really
I
did.
felt.
Really just an incredible cast.
Also, it is the 80s. And I don't know if you're aware of if you have a long pinky fingernail, it means you do coke.
Oh, well. So
you
that
scoop
would
it up with
explain
your
a lot
fingernail.
about Lo Pan.
So Lo Pan, I think, probably maybe did some coke.
It would explain why he got back up so quickly after getting run over by the truck.
It really would help. Like, it makes sense now. This really pisses me off to no end.
What a great time.
I'm
just
so
had a blast.
glad you loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you did love
absolutely.
it. I don't know.
I did. I 100% loved it.
I knew
mean, it's just a laugh riot.
Such a
It's
good
so
time.
fun. And it's not a dumb laugh riot. Like, it wasn't just, oh, what a shut your brain off and have a good time movie, which I think is the laziest excuse for bad movies. When they're like, oh, it's just turn your brain off and have a good time. Like, hi, can I have a good time with my brain on, please? That's more fun for me. So the fact that you can have this movie that's silly and goofy and like, yeah, there's elements that make no sense, but it's still clever. It's still like being subversive. It has some reason behind it. The characters are interesting.
Yes.
There's an engaging story that is as bonkers as it is somewhat linear and you know what's happening. The characters are making choices that make sense based on their histories and what we know about them. Like, it's not a dumb movie. It's a delightful movie.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Also the writing, so many great, some of the dialogue was just fucking hilarious. Like,
So
there's so many
sharp.
good singers and good little like 1-2 punch, dialogue scenes, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I was like, all right, this is props to the writer.
I'm going to give this movie 2 very long pinky fingernails up. And then I'm going to wiggle my thumbs like a
And then be
joystick.
like,
What about you?
I agree with your pinky finger assessment. I mean, I already had 2 pinky fingers up for
The whole time.
for Big Trouble in Little
So
China
good.
going into it because it's just a fave from back from high school.
So I got to say,
Yeah.
and I don't say this often, but in this particular moment, I'm grateful to the AI.
Oh wow.
I'm glad it made us watch this.
Red letter day.
AI is nothing but trouble, but in this instance, this random movie that it picked out for us, great choice.
Great choice,
Great
AI.
choice.
Thanks a lot, AI.
Yeah. You're welcome, everybody.
Oh, Mickey?
Whoa, hey, careful with that name.
I know. I don't think Disney
I think-
would let
I
the
think we
AI
can-
sound like
I
Mickey.
think we can get sued for 2 more years on Mickey.
I didn't say anything after Mickey.
Yeah.
So.
Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney could be Mickey Finn.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed Big Trouble in Little China
Yeah.
with us. I hope you got a chance to watch it
Mhm.
before this episode and that you laughed along with us.
Right?
I think we're going to take a little break and then we will find out what AI makes us watch in the next episode.
Cannot wait to find out.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yay.
That was a lot of fun. Big
Yeah.
Trouble in Little China. Oh my God.
I mean, just one of the best.
It really is.
Movies out there. I love it.
I love those movies where you watch them. You know, they're like classic movies,
Mhm.
but they're old.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like, yeah, sure, of course, everybody back then loved it. And you watch it and you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
Right.
I know why people are still talking about this movie today. Honestly, I mean, that was when I finally saw, not to get all like filmy about it, but when I finally saw Citizen Kane,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's really
I mean,
good.
it's
I
a
mean,
really good
it's a really good movie. I don't know what you're going to say. So Big Trouble in Little China, equal in all ways to Citizen Kane. Thank
Just
you.
like Citizen Kane.
You heard it. It's basically
Which,
the
by
same
the way,
movie.
not as good as Paddington 2.
According to Rotten Tomatoes,
That's right.
Paddington 2 just edged out Citizen Kane, which is great. I hope the AI makes us watch Paddington 2
Oh,
at some
me
point
too.
because it's a lot of fun.
It is so cute.
But yeah, I think Big Trouble AI. Look, we've said it before. AI has done some terrible things.
Yes.
I think we're all very concerned the direction that AI is taking us.
Mm-hmm.
But asking us to watch Big Trouble in Little China, nay, demanding that we watch Big Trouble in Little China, probably the best thing AI has done to date.
Yes. Great job, AI.
Yes. For
Way to
once,
go.
a little round of applause for AI. Thank you, thank
Ah.
you.
Golf
Okay.
clap.
And that's all you'll get from us, you lousy sack of bolts.
Yeah.
You calamitous. What is the Dr. Smith from Lost in Space? You calamitous, cantankerous bucket of circuits.
Gotta get creative. How you talk shit to the AI.
You
It
gotta
has
stay
all
ahead
the
of it.
dictionaries at its fingertips.
And the problem, like fighting a Mega Man or something, is that everything you throw at it, it's learning.
True.
So we got to learn how to shut it down. It's like in the movie where the bad guy is, an AI in iRobot.
Is that what we're getting to?
I would take an iRobot future.
Eh.
I mean, I wouldn't prefer an iRobot future, but of the dystopian futures, things worked out okay in iRobot.
Okay. I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about things that we already have, like the Roomba.
Yeah.
Or, which gets stuck in corners or will commit suicide by accident.
Yeah.
The way our technology just kind of fucking sucks sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a mess.
I don't know if I want it to be in charge of anything.
No. Well, and it's
But-
good to see that it probably won't be because it's so bad at what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to talk too much shit because it's about to tell us what movie to
You're
watch.
right. I mean, AI is so great.
Great.
It does everything so good.
I hope it makes us watch,
Good.
Star Wars, whatever.
Ooh.
Something good, something easy.
Some fun.
But no, also the point is to be challenged and go outside of our usual movie watchings, right?
That's true.
Okay.
That is a good thing about the AI. It's making us pick things we wouldn't normally pick.
All right, AI, what movie do we have to watch next in order to stop you from destroying humanity?
You've got to trust me on this one.
Oh, okay. AI is coming out.
Okay, now I
very
feel more nervous.
casual.
In my ongoing, endearing quest to fathom humanity, I came across this fascinating cinematic gem. It revolves around a society, a tad dystopian, where the rules of love and relationships are, well, kind of rigid. Single folks are taken to this hotel, and here's where it gets intriguing. They have a limited time to find a partner, or they'll be turned into an animal of their choice. It's a wry commentary on societal pressures, the conventions of love, and the lengths we humans go to avoid being alone.
Oh, wait. No,
No,
yeah.
I know this.
This is
I know this. This
it's
is
that indie movie
it's
recently.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, the
We-
lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, this one's been on our list.
It totally
for
has
a
been.
very long time. Whenever
Because-
it came out, I guess.
This is that director who did Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
which
that.
I have not seen.
Also have not seen.
And I know it's so good, apparently.
Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz are in The Lobster.
Oh, Rachel Weisz.
Directors
I love her.
Yorgos Lanthimos. That's the director.
Yorgos Lanthimos. What a great
name.
name.
What a name. Okay, yeah. No, I'm excited. We've been wanting to watch
No,
this
this
movie.
one's, yeah, I'm very excited to watch this.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell is one of those actors that surprises you
For real.
a lot. Because
For
I think
real.
when he first came out, he was like pretty boy. He
Yeah.
got that pretty boy problem. Where
Right.
he was too handsome.
Uh-huh.
So he kept playing like kind of whatever
Yeah.
parts or whatever.
He's just here to be the face. Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
as soon as he had any clout to pick, he started picking some really interesting characters to play, and he's really good.
Honestly, for me, Minority Report was the turning point for him
Oh, okay.
because he's the like lead detective going after Tom Cruise in Minority
Oh,
Report.
I forgot all about that. I
Well,
guess I need to see that
geez.
movie again.
Hey, psst, AI, can you make us watch Minority Report? Because I will watch it any day of the week.
AI,
It's so
do you
good.
take requests?
Colin Farrell's great in that movie.
Yeah,
He's great in a lot of movies.
true.
I love Colin Farrell.
Mhm.
Great. Can't be mad.
Fantastic.
I'm excited to see him in The Lobster.
Also, Rachel Weisz is
Rachel
just...
Weisz is you have multiple times.
Mhm.
I would say maybe weekly. You've threatened to leave me for Rachel Weisz,
Look, if she showed any interest, it would be pretty tough.
and honestly, I said, get in line.
Obviously. I know, right? Because at least you'd be able to visit us.
Hey, Rachel Weisz, my wife and I saw you from across the bar, and we're fighting over you.
And we're fighting.
And Daniel
Oh.
Craig steps in
And he's,
and just James Bonds us right out of the room, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'd rather him Benoit Blanc us out of the room because then he wouldn't be interested in his wife anymore and
Oh,
we
there
would
you
be able to.
Oh, you've got it all worked
I
out.
have it all worked out.
All we need is
I'm
for
like,
Daniel
you-
Craig to be gay, Rachel
You go
Weisz
hang
to
out with
be
Hugh Grant or whatever.
super into us.
Oh my God. Although I will say Rachel Weisz from The Mummy, like the character,
I know.
that character's so cute.
Yeah.
And I love her so much. I don't know that I want Rachel Weisz from The Favorite because she was sort of scary. She was kind of a scary lady.
She's a woman of many
Intimidating.
faces.
She is, but
Many.
all of them are so beautiful.
So gorgeous. So wait, two questions because you said The Mummy. I'm not. It's been a meme for a while, but the Mummy having like an unreasonably attractive cast.
Oh my God. Yeah,
It just
everyone's like,
confused
The Mummy
everyone.
was my bisexual awakening.
Yeah,
Because Fraser,
Thank
excuse
you.
me, Brendan Fraser.
get it right.
Rachel Weisz. Ugh. And then whoever played the Mummy was super hot too.
Oh,
and his
Imhotep,
wife,
yeah.
or his lady.
Yeah, Imhotep and what's her name? Aung Sunamun.
Ooh,
Yeah,
there you go.
that's
Onks to the moon.
Arnold. No,
Well, that's what it sounded like.
Arnold Vosloo is the Mummy, but then also, of course, Oded Fehr, who is the guy they meet in the desert, the big strong guy who he's part of the cult that's supposed to keep the mummy underground.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
he's real handsome too.
Yes.
Everybody in that movie.
Everybody. And even her brother, Jonathan, right?
Yeah, Jonathan, yeah.
Like, he's supposed to be, kind of goofy or
Yeah.
whatever. But the thing is, he's pretty brave. Like, he sticks with them all
He
the
does
time.
what he needs to do, yeah.
And he just came from the war.
Right.
Like, my man's a veteran.
Right.
And he's like, now I'm in Egypt. I thought I was done
Okay, look,
carting around these guns and shit. But here I am in danger again.
here's the problem. AI is going to conquer humanity because we've been talking about the mummy.
I
And we're
know.
supposed to be talking about the lobster.
All right, let's go watch The Lobster.
I can't tell you how many of our conversations end up back on the mummy.
The Mummy.
And we're like, wait, we were trying to decide what's for dinner tonight.
Look.
This is why we had to get the AI to pick a movie for us.
Exactly.
Because we just keep going back to the mummy.
Just watching it over and over again. We need to broaden our horizons and watch
Seriously.
The Lobster, damn it.
Oh, wait, I was going to ask you, so Rachel Weisz, are you really, like, given the option, are you going to kick Daniel Craig out?
I mean, no, he can stay.
Okay.
I don't think he's not like someone who I'm like dreaming about or something.
You're not as into a brute.
Not as
a big,
much.
You know,
Yeah,
big,
but
tough
they're
guy.
nice to look at, but I don't know that I'm
Sure.
like I want to be cuddled by one.
I feel like Daniel Craig would be very cuddly.
He probably is.
Very,
After
very
he did
cuddler.
like, honestly, it's like less James Bond and
Yeah.
more like the dancing commercial.
The dancing vodka commercial or whatever,
right?
yeah.
And honestly, Benoit Blanc, even though he's gay, character.
Yeah.
But like he's so fun and like
Yeah.
you know, it makes me want to hang out with him more.
Sure.
Than James Bond. You can't hang out with James Bond.
I
Like
love-
who is like, hey James, let's go get let's just go cut it up at the pub. Like no one.
Right.
James Bond, not a guy you can have a beer with.
No, you can have a martini with him.
Yeah, but
But
it's
you might
not
end up dead.
fun. You're not having a
You
good
might end
time.
up collateral damage
Yeah, true.
that now the British government is pretending you never existed.
What?
All right. Well, The Lobster.
All right,
Remember?
The Lobster, Colin Farrell,
Yeah.
amazing actor.
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz, incredible actor.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
This
I'm
is
very
gonna
excited
be a
about
weird,
this.
cool, weird movie.
I hope that you all take the opportunity to watch it with us before the next episode. Like,
Yeah.
give it a watch so that when you tune in next time, you can kind of listen along and scream at our insane reactions to this movie and say, what are you talking about?
That's not what it meant at all.
No, we would love to have you be part of the discussion. So grab The Lobster.
Yeah.
Let's watch it and we'll tune in next time and we'll talk about it.
Cannot wait for it.
And hopefully we'll save humanity in the process. Can't
That's
forget
right.
that we're staving off the AI apocalypse
We're
here.
trying so hard, you guys, for everyone.
It's a loose concept.
Send us some encouragement
Yes,
to our email address, which is aimadeuswatch@gmail.com.
that's right. Or hit us up on Instagram. I'm at Oh Great, It's Eli.
I'm at Dynamite Boom.
And the show is at AI Made Us Watch. Until then, you're welcome, humanity, for saving you by watching these movies. And we can't wait to catch you at the next one.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now we're trying to save the world as we race against the clock. But at least we